You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
And welcome to this week's Hackers Podcast. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG, where everybody can golf.
Now watch this drive.
Oh, yeah, hackers of the world. Grab your clubs. Let's tee off on the 10th episode of the ECG Hackers Podcast. I'm the Ashman. Joining us today on the first tee from Sydney, Australia, Chris Zuuc. Welcome to the tee, brother.
Cheers, Ash. Good to be here. And, welcome also, Julie. Glad to
Thanks, mate.
Catch up again.
Yeah, man, coming to us on the first tee from Port Macquarie, New South Wales, a lovely town down there in New South Wales, Dooley. How you going, brother?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you guys?
Stoked. It is the
Excellent.
10th episode of this show. I can't believe
Well
we got past 2. So well done. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen,
100% more importantly.
100% more importantly, something happened today. Before we go to the news, boom, up on your screens right now, Dooley Sinclair won the Stableford at the Warhope Golf Club today. Dooley, well done, brother.
Thanks, mate. Not everything came together, but my recovery game was just sensational on those cord greens I sent you boys the pictures of. I managed to only have one three putt, which was for only green I hit in regulation too. So
Really?
yeah, it was a good day. Good day,
Mate, you must be stoked. Did you get a meat tray out of that or something, man? What'd you get?
I think it's about a $40 voucher at the pro shop. So
A couple of good clean towels out of that then, Dooley.
and a Gatorade, perhaps.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Join us for the whole hour if you can on Spotify or YouTube. This week we're going to be discussing obviously current golf news. We've got an interview with Mitch Morgan, which Chris did down while he was in Melbourne at the Grand Prix, and all the latest news from the fairways of the world. The two amazing segments that we have, which are running wild, are coming up as well later on in the show. That's Who's in Your Four Ball, which is Major League Baseball themed, and of course, Ripped or Yipped. But right now, something very important. Let's hit the links and see.
Let's get this show rolling like a perfect putt and head over to Zuuc in the ECG newsroom. Over to you.
Thanks, Belvedere. Let's just start with a news summary of the Australian results. It was another close but not quite close enough week for Aussies competing on the golf world stage. Notable performances included Gabby Ruffles, whose strong finish saw her tie for third place at the LPGA Fir Hills Surrey Park Championship, and David Micheluzzi's 7th place finish at the DP World Tour event in Singapore. Unfortunately, David's finish wasn't so strong. He was leading the Porsche Singapore Classic through 10 holes of the final round on Sunday, but consecutive double bogeys on the 11th and 12th saw him surrender the lead and never regain it. But however, showing some Aussie grit, he bounced back to birdie the 16th and 18th to rescue his round and secure his first top 10 finish on the DP World Tour. With Micheluzzi having gained his spot at this event due to winning last year's PGA Australasia Order of Merit, is David's top 10 finish a good sign for Kazuma Kabori, Brett Coletta and Daniel Gale, who just got their DP Tour cards for next year in a similar fashion? Your thoughts, Ash?
David Micheluzzi, he had a triple bogey or something, didn't he? It was great to watch. I have him on my fantasy team each week that I can when he's over there. I think his top 10 finish certainly sets a good positive precedent for Kabori, Coletta, Gale. Them securing that DP Tour cards through similar avenues, I think is a great opportunity for them. I think Micheluzzi's success definitely offers them a real beacon of hope and motivation to perform well. And I'm really keen to see how they go. I'm not sure what tournaments they've actually logged themselves into, Chris. I'm not sure. I haven't seen, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
I think the main one there who gets a bit of an early start is Kabori. I think he gets a couple of invites this year, while the others will probably have to wait to next year. But I think, David was looking strong for a while there. I think it was just a shame that it fell apart there in that final round. It would have been nice for him to just close that round out as he had played previously throughout the tournament. But moving on, shifting our attention to the LPGA. Naturally, when Nelly's involved, I'm there. And in this instance, Nelly was able to record back-to-back wins on the LPGA Tour by claiming victory at the Fir Hills Surrey Park Championship. It wasn't all smooth sailing for Nelly. She certainly looked like she had the tournament wrapped up with a 2-stroke lead with 2 holes to play. But back-to-back bogeys saw her drop back to the pack and join Ryan O'Toole at 9 under for the tournament. However, after collecting her thoughts, Corder was able to walk up to the 18th tee for the playoff hole, and as part of that playoff, sink a 15-foot putt for birdie to claim the win. And this being her second win of 2024, she has returned to number 1 in the Rolex Women's World Rankings. I guess with the majors approaching and the Olympics not too far away, is there anything stopping Nelly from having her best professional year yet? Julie, what are your thoughts?
Well, she's looking that way. It's actually, I finally got KO on, boys.
Nice.
So
I
was watching the golf, the LPGA. She's just the focus that woman's got. It's amazing. There was one hole that just popped into mind. I think it was day 3. Walked up to her ball on the par 5, and it just rolled back down the hill. She got a ruling, was allowed to take the drop, and sunk the chip for an eagle.
Nice.
As you do.
Yeah. I think, the combination of her talent, her work ethic, a strategic approach, but plus she's very marketable. I think that makes for a superstar, for years to come.
Yeah, she was threatening to break out, I think, in 2021, having had a couple of wins and the gold medal at the delayed Tokyo Olympics, but then had a couple of health scares and not a great 2022/2023 season. So hopefully, I think, this 2024 season could be a launching pad for her. And I think she could become as marketable and as well known as anyone who tees up on the professional.
Still very young too, isn't she?
Absolutely.
28,
absolutely.
27, 28, something like that, I think.
A bit below that. I think 25, 26, but I could be wrong.
Been selected for the Olympics, do you know?
She would be being ranked number 1. She'd be an automatic pick for the US. Don't know if her sister will be joining her or not, but yeah, no, certainly a talented family. Absolutely. Shifting our attention to the male PGA, it was the Valspar Championship. I don't think there were any objections to Peter Malnati's win over the weekend. The veteran recorded his first win on tour in 9 years and secured himself his first Masters invite and eligibility for the remaining signature events on the season. In relation to the Masters, this is quite interesting and amusing. During his post-match interview, he said, "I'll probably accept the invitation and go play the Masters." Yeah, I mean, I guess, that's cool. It hasn't sunk in yet at all because I guess I'm going to be there when is it? So it was a very relaxed interview. And
his first Masters too, isn't it?
First Masters invite. But it was certainly a heartwarming interview. I don't know if you've seen it live or on the socials. He basically broke down into tears repeatedly. And as part of the interview process, revealed why he uses a yellow-coloured ball. So he started using it in Minnesota at the 3M Championship last year, and the reason why he switched was because at the time his son really liked the yellow ball.
Yeah, cool.
And so he's kind of kept it just because it allows him to think of his son, and that's worth a smile or two over around, and he values that. So as a coloured ball aficionado myself, certainly appreciative that Peter sticks to his guns with the coloured ball and is able to prove himself a winner with that. But I guess moving more broadly in relation to the tournament, and certainly not to take anything away from Malnati's win, but the drop-off in the quality of the field was noticeable when compared to last week's players. The only big names to tee it up at the Valspar were Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, and Xander Schauffele. So, Ash, is the PGA, and perhaps let's just say maybe is golf, doing itself a disservice by repeatedly offering up this, I guess, second-rate product at times?
I think it can be. I think the big problem at the moment, which in my opinion, is there's too many tournaments in the PGA. It's like tournament, and it's already diluted. So you don't have these big names like Liv do, for example. So I feel like there's too much golf, and it's also diluted. So on one hand, you do get to see new blokes like Malnati win and these beautiful presentations and speeches they give that you wouldn't have seen if all those guys were playing. But I just feel there's a real problem between frequency of tournament and quality of the field. There's a real problem at the moment. We don't have the quality and there's too much frequency. What do you think, Jules?
Yeah, I just think at the end of the day, it's their job. There should be something in place that you have to play. You shouldn't have to pick and choose when or where you want to play. Like, I'd like tomorrow off, but I got to go to work. So, and that way, even if it was like two out of the top 10 players in a separate tournament each week, if they're overlapping, give the crowds what they want.
Yeah, good
point. It's hard to enforce that to a degree, just because they are effectively independent contractors. They don't get paid unless they win. But I guess in an era where sponsorship and endorsements and the like are so significant, it kind of does take away the need to tee it up as regularly as perhaps in the past. What do you
think, Chris? What do you think about that?
Oh, look, I think it does lead to this diluted product, and at this point in time, I can understand why there's this focus in the PGA on signature events, but every live event is a big event. And so the PGA really has this two tiers, and I don't know if it's really working, in my opinion. But
it's like Major League, Minor League in some weeks.
It is, in a way. And it's I think it's something they'll need to have a look at. But but anyway, finally, as it often is the case with respect to golf of late, it seems that the biggest news is not on the course, but off the course, and this week was no exception. Ladies and gentlemen, Happy Gilmore 2 may well be a reality.
Unbelievable.
So whilst on Odyssey's 92.3 The Fan, Shooter McGavin actor Christopher McDonald let it slip that he had seen a script for Happy Gilmore 2. And so this is what he said on that interview. He said, "I saw Adam," being Adam Sandler, about 2 weeks ago, and he says to me, "McDonald, you're going to love this." I said, "What?" He says, "How about that?" And he shows me the first draft of Happy Gilmore.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, Jules, how excited are you for a Happy Gilmore sequel?
Mate, 11. It's going to be great. And there is no way he would have read the script. He just would have said, straight away. Seen the cover and signed on.
Yeah.
I remember watching that in the lounge room of 41 Macquarie Drive when it first come out on VHS, if you will.
Yes.
It was insane. It was a great movie.
Man. Mate, this is bigger than Titanic 2. This is epic. This is I can't wait, and you can see it's time for it. Hey, I mean, golf has reached that crowd that Happy Gilmore created 28 years ago, or that crowd that was watching the golf there, and then the Tiger Woods boom. Those people are now 50, like me, and it's time for the next generation to get involved. So I think it's fantastic.
Could
Great
be the
stuff.
seniors tour, perhaps.
Yes, nice. I did see something about Shooter McGavin saying there's no way I'm going to lose to this guy again or something.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how that rivalry was continued post the first one. So I'm as excited as you guys are, and to be fair, Sandler with his Netflix suite of movies has been on a pretty good roll. I've probably enjoyed all of his recent ones, and certainly really enjoyed.
What was that?
Hustle.
The Diamond Dealer one?
Great. Yeah, the Diamond Dealer one. I think Kevin Garnett had a cameo in that.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
And recently with the Hustle basketball movie, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah,
so,
that was good.
I think he's on a roll, and let's hope it's as good, if not better, than the first.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's all from the news desk, gentlemen.
Awesome.
Thanks,
well,
Chris.
I wanted to thanks once again, Chris. You always got some great information. You present it beautifully. It's episode 10. You're getting better and better every week, brother. Thank you for that. Before we go to a break, after the break, Chris, I will be playing an interview with Mitch Morgan that you did down in Melbourne. But here's a message from one of our sponsors.
Big brand golf balls up to 70% cheaper than retail. We're one of Australia's largest sellers of second-hand golf balls, so you save big time. Discountgolfballs.com.au. Never pay full price again.
Welcome back. You're listening and sometimes watching the ECG Hackers podcast. I'm the Ashman. I'm joined with Zuuc and Dooley, three golf-loving, somewhat obsessed golf fans talking the talk. Chris, what were you doing last week, brother? And how did this interview come about?
Look, I was down in Melbourne for the Grand Prix, and so as part of the trip, added a bit of a golf element to it. We were able to duck away for a quick 9 holes on Friday morning before we headed out to Albert Park for the afternoon's motorsport. As part of the group that we had out there was Jake Hadfield, who I work with, and Mitchell Morgan, a good friend. Mitch is a greenkeeper by trade and a golf tragic like us all. And as part of that, he has been part of Golf Digest's judge panel for the top 100 Australian golf courses for a few years. And so I thought it was an opportunity to catch up and understand how that all works.
Yeah. Here, Belvedere, can you roll the tape, please? Belvedere?
I'm here at the lovely Yarra Bend golf course, and I'm joined by Mitchell Morgan, a good friend of mine, keen golfer and panel member judge for Golf Digest Australia's top 100 courses. Welcome, Mitch.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Firstly, Mitch, what attracted you to the game of golf, and what about it has kept you teeing up?
First thing that attracted me, playing sport all my junior life, I've always had a club in my hand, but 10, 12 years ago when I was working at a golf course, greenkeeper by trade, so I was out hitting golf balls at lunchtime, and that is when I got stuck into golf.
Caught the bug?
I got the bug, yep, got the bug, and ever since then I've loved it.
Awesome. As mentioned, you're a panel member judge for Golf Digest Australia's top 100 Australian courses, a role no doubt many of our listeners are jealous of. How did you end up in this role?
About 4 years ago, there was an advertisement on Australian Golf Digest asking for new members of the panel, and being a greenkeeper and a keen golfer, I thought, well, there's no better opportunity to play some of the best courses in Australia, and I applied.
And has that opened up doors in terms of getting access to golf and golf courses that perhaps you wouldn't have?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I played some over the past 4 years. I played Royal Melbourne, Kingston Heath, Bumbugle Dunes, Lost Farm, New South Wales Golf Club in Sydney. Yeah, some of the golf courses that I wouldn't think that I'd never ever get on.
A lot of those courses are on a lot of our listeners' bucket lists, so certainly I'm certainly jealous. But can you shed some light on the judging process and the role you play in determining the top 100?
Yeah, so when I first got on the judging process, it was a little bit daunting, very daunting. Warming to the role over the last 4 years, some of the stuff we go through of what we judge is the shot options, which is marked out of 20, the challenge out of 10,
Cool.
layout variety out of 10, distinctiveness of each course and golf hole, the character, aesthetics, and the conditioning. So all up, what we look at, it's all out of 80.
Cool. And in terms of that, just I guess diving a bit deeper there, not suggesting that you pull back the curtain too much, but can you discuss some of the features in a course that you feel add to the overall enjoyment of a golf round?
I think for me, it's how the enjoyment is compared to a scratch golfer to a 20, 25 handicap golfer.
So us hackers, you're keeping us in the back of your mind as you're making that assessment?
Is it challenging for a scratch golfer?
Yep.
But is it also enjoyable for them?
Yep.
And the same thing for a hacker, essentially. Are they enjoying the round?
Yep.
Or are they frustrated that there's hazards in play where it's just not fair? With fairness and consistency of each golf hole and the layout is what's enjoyable.
Okay. And on the flip side, are there any golf course features that can detract from a round? You've touched on there in terms of difficulty and hazards, but beyond that, are there any, as simple as amenities or anything else that should be on a golf course? Otherwise, it can detract from a round?
Look, I think the layout variety and the challenge between a scratch golfer and a 20, 30 handicapper, you got to have the enjoyment. Like, if there's hazards that are in play for that scratch golfer, or there's hazards that are there for the longer handicapper, is it fair? That's the questions. And playing with different judges, this is the question, that these sort of questions is what we bring up every time. Is it fair? I'm a 12 handicapper. I play with judges that are a 5 handicapper. Some holes, I don't think it's fair to me, but it's the enjoyment.
Yep.
Is that water hazard in play for me? Is that bunker in play for me? Is that bunker in play for the scratch golfer? And so on.
Excellent. And just finally, to wrap things up, if you could play one course for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
And if it was international course, it'd be the home of golf, without a doubt. Australian course, it'd be probably Barnbougle, Lost Farm. It's 20 holes, it's wide, it's fair, and just the whole distinctiveness, just...
That's the Tasmanian course, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So if any of your listeners have never played it, highly recommend. Like, it's one of the best golf courses that I've ever played. As I said, it's 20 holes. The only reason it is 20 holes is because the lay of the land, they didn't want to put 18. The land was just too good to not.
I really enjoyed that interview, Chris, with Mitch Morgan. It was an awesome insight into how they can rate a golf course. After the break, we're going to come back, and boys, we might have a crack at using that criteria to rate one of the courses we've played at before. But here's one of our sponsors.
At Car Lovers, we know how much you love your car and how important it is to keep it in top-notch condition. That's why we've created the Car Lovers Infinity Wash Club, an affordable and convenient way to ensure your car stays sparkling clean all year round. Say hello to unlimited auto car washes for less than $10 a week. For details, head to carloversexpress.com.au. Hey fellas, Belvedere here again. It's now time for my favourite segment of the week. Been there, hacked that. Time to talk about golf courses we have played, assaulted, embarrassed and sometimes destroyed. On a side note, guys.
Thank you,
So,
Belvedere. Thank
While
you,
I
Belvedere.
can, I hope you're all sitting down. The kind
Yes.
people at Car Lovers
Yes. Boom.
have given
Do
us
I get
each
one
a
of
golf
these?
shirt. There's a golf shirt for each of us panel
Ooh.
members. So
Sweet.
Boom. Thank you,
big,
car lovers.
big shout out to Kimberly from Car Lovers there. So
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks, Kimberly.
Kimberly.
should be able to.
Did you notice my well-worn
do.
car lovers bucket?
We are a sun smart bunch.
All wearing hats inside. That's our sun
Yeah.
smart we are.
No hat, no play. That's how it
Yeah.
is.
No. We're going to have a crack at rating Pacific Bay Golf Course using that criteria that Mitch Morgan was talking about. It's amazing some of the things he was talking about is about being fair as well and enjoyment. I think that really rung in my ears when he was saying that. What did you take out of that, Jules? What did you think? That was
Yeah,
a good
I understand what he's talking about. The fairness, like there might be a fairway bunker at 300, which your scratch handicapper is going to have to miss. Yet, you know, a hacker off 30 or so is probably hitting their second shot into that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a good insight.
Yeah, it was. Chris, I'm just going to put up on the screen. If you're watching, you'll be able to see it if you're listening. What are the criteria, Chris, that we'll go through here?
So just recapping those, obviously we've got shot options, that's out of 20, challenge, layout variety, distinctiveness of the course, character, course aesthetics, and course condition. And those last items are out of 10. So a total out of 80 in terms of the course score.
All right, because we're predominantly a radio show, I'm going to leave that image up so we can just talk through them.
Yeah.
So we're talking Pacific Bay. We all played there on my 50th birthday. Lovely part of the world, near where you live, Dooley, in New South Wales. Yeah. Let's take 5 minutes and just rate this using that criteria. It's a par 3 course. It's at a resort. So, and I believe back in the day, this is where the Wallabies used to train and stay, and it used to be a great place. But it's probably a little bit past its heyday. But shot options-wise, for this Pac Bay, let's keep in mind this is a par 3 course. So I'll go to you, Chris, first. You can get the ball rolling here. What are you thinking?
I gave it a 3. Being all par 3s, there really aren't shot options. You're aiming for the green every time. So that's where it's probably a bit harsh. 3 for a par 3.
No, I'm thinking exactly the same thing. I went 3 because it's a par 3 as well. Yeah, unfortunately, you're either a pitching wedge or a pitching wedge, a 9 or 8, or in some instances, if we go to the back tee on the 9th, it was a 7-iron for me.
7,
What about you, Dooley?
I went the same, 3, and basically it was 3 clubs off the tee each round, each hole.
Yeah. And in fact, I'm staying there again in a couple of weeks, but I think you literally could walk around there with 3 clubs, and that'd be quite good fun. Chris, next one on the list is the challenge out of 10.
Yep. Again, it's probably just a reflection of the par 3. I had it as a 2. There's really probably 2 real challenging holes, being the 1st and the 9th with water hazards and the like. The rest are pretty vanilla par 3 holes. Yeah.
I went with 3 out of 10. I think the 9th is actually a hole that could go on any golf course anywhere.
100%.
It's a sensational par 3. It's a stunning hole. The rest, there's some dog track around the back corner. And there's a couple of holes like 6 and 7, which I can tell the layout was good. And a challenge, but it's too straightforward. So I went 3. Dooley, what about you, mate?
I'm going to go 4. I've thrown an extra point in for that bloody hill walking up to the second tee.
Yeah, that is a challenge.
That is a challenge.
That was a challenge in itself. Yeah,
that was the worst. That is the worst in between hole walks you can do.
And I really don't. I'm not sure an electric buggy would get you up there. Like it was.
But I'd like to know what the actual yardage is for the walk as compared to the actual hole yardage, because
Yeah, it's a big
it's
walk.
not.
Yeah.
It's a good walk to get around all 9. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, and actually from the first, remember the first hole was decent too. That could be on any golf course. That first
Yeah,
hole.
that's a good hole.
Oh,
And I
beautiful hole.
think the eighth,
The first
eighth
and the
had a
ninth.
bit of water as well. It was a good hole.
Yeah, but then you got to walk. You're literally walking, I reckon, about 800 meters from the first green to the second tee.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving into the layout variety out of 10. Chris, what do you think about the layout variety?
I gave it a 2.
Oh, nice.
Again, it's just the nature of the course. It's par 3s.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just went with 2 as well. Interesting layout around a resort. But yeah, Julie, what do you think?
Yeah, probably a 2 as well. They've used what they can well, but to be honest, they probably could have fit another 5 or 6 holes in it.
Yeah, they could have.
You know, don't worry
Funny
about
enough,
the guests and that. You know, throw a few extra holes in.
From what I can see, Russell Crowe's bought half the land, and I think he's going to build over the top of it. But next one is distinctiveness of course out of 10. I gave it a 4 in this one because it's actually quite distinctive. It's got a bit of distinctive look and feel to it. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I had it a 3. I really like the first and the 9th. I think they're fantastic holes, and particularly when you're playing around the resort. It certainly gives it a nice, distinctive feel.
Yeah, Dolly.
Yeah, I'd give it a 3 as well. Like, yeah, they've used just the contour of the land around where it is quite well. I reckon in the be a hot little course in the middle of summer. We were lucky enough to play there just at before the heat came.
Yeah, Swamp Meadow was just beginning.
Yeah, and Coffs Harbour, it can just rain at the drop of a hat too. So it'd be nice to play it there a little bit soggier than what we were playing it at. So.
Yeah. Character, I went 4 out of 10 because it's built around a resort, so it's got a bit of history to it. Anyone else want to chip in there?
I'll go 3.
Yeah. Okay. 3. Course aesthetics. I felt it was past its time, so it would have been fantastic if it was looked after. But once again, I just went 3 out of 10. Chris, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's just that, that 9th, the island hole just elevates it. There's just something about that hole that elevates everything. But unfortunately, that's only 1 out of 9. So 3 seems about right.
Yeah,
all our golf balls elevated the level of water.
Yeah, that's right. A couple of mil. That's right.
Yeah.
And the overall condition of the course, it was pretty terrible over the back.
Yeah, they just caught the greens too. So, 2.
What do you think, Chris? 2? Fair?
I had a 3.
Well,
so yeah,
you
in
went
that same
3?
range.
I don't think many people walk around there with a divot repair tool.
No,
No.
not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's right.
And some of those tee boxes too were a bit on the
That's
right.
Wasn't there? There was one that was like at a 45-degree angle, like.
Oh yeah, the ball's sitting up around shin height, like a shin height tee off.
Yeah.
You've actually got to, instead of teeing it up, you've got to try and push the ball down.
Do I want to draw this in there or draw this in there?
Or just top it. Yeah. The ECG official rating of the Pack Bay Golf Course, thanks to the Morgan style voting, is 20 out of 80, boys.
Oh, dear.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think that's
it
fair.
It could be a lot better. Like, you know.
Yeah. Just needs a bit of love.
Yeah.
I think from memory, Bonville, which is an amazing course, they bought it and they used the greenkeepers from Bonville to look after Pack Bay. And I think from what I've heard, it's getting better and better. But I've also heard that the government are going to build a movie studio on the land there and take out all the golf holes.
That's where that's going.
Yeah, it's going up near the road where holes 2, 3, 4, 5 is going.
Yeah,
so Russell Crowe apparently is going to fund that, but I don't know if that's stalled or what's happening there.
I've actually heard that on the local radio not long ago that I think it's been passed, but I wasn't sure where it was going. Yeah.
It's going up the top there.
I think, and I could be wrong, I think Pac Bay is actually sponsoring the Australian Women's Classic, which is the next signature event on the WPGA.
Yeah, they're playing at
Australia.
Bombville, aren't
They are, and that's
Yeah.
sponsored by Pac Bay. So,
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to get a bit of a promote a little bit.
Yeah.
Pac
Oh,
Bay.
we certainly talk about it enough on this podcast. So
That's
we get
right.
a bit from us, but it'll be interesting to see when you do play in a couple of weeks, Ash, to report back on whether you think it's still a 20 or whether something's changed there.
Yeah, and let me know if they fix that spar. I was hanging for that spar.
At Car Lovers, we know how much you love your car and how important it is to keep it in top-notch condition. That's why we've created the Car Lovers Infinity Wash Club, an affordable and convenient way to ensure your car stays sparkling clean all year round. Say hello to unlimited auto car washes for less than $10 a week. For details, head to carloversexpress.com.au.
Oh, I was about to say, Dooley, how's your balls? What I meant to feed, what I was going to say is, how were the balls today that you used?
Mate, I tell you, there's something wrong with them. I couldn't lose one.
Oh, really?
I didn't lose a ball all day, and yeah, those.
What were you using, mate? What are you?
I got the Strixon X
Z Tour.
Z Star XR XV or something.
Yeah,
very
cool.
nice. Yeah.
Very
nice, yes.
If you could just head to discountgolfballs.com.au, you can use the ECG golf code in the checkout and you'll get a 10% discount like we all do. And we all need
Can
more
confirm,
balls, right?
Can confirm that the code works. Yep.
Yeah. Chris, what are you using tomorrow? You're playing tomorrow with my brother Rambo, aren't you?
Playing tomorrow. I haven't upgraded my equipment on the ball front. I'm certainly looking to do that once I get through my, how can I say, current stock of orange Mizunos. And if I do go down that path, I will be looking at maybe a yellow Pro V1 or something like that. And see how that holds up and take the advantage of the discounted price.
Yeah, awesome. I was really hoping to play golf today, last day of the week at work. I was going to say seeing a client, but it was raining, so I couldn't get out there. I did find this brand new golf club manufacturer here on the Gold Coast called H Golf. Check it out. HAITCH, so H.com. These beautiful golf clubs, and they're called the Burley Heads. Which is here on the Gold Coast.
Clever.
Yeah, check him out. I'll see if I can get him on very soon. Really important part of the show. See the fella at the bottom of your screen there? His name's Dooley. He's from Port Macquarie. He's a great bloke. He's right into baseball. So after this little thing, we're going to be talking who's in your four ball Major League Baseball theme. Belvedere.
Hey there, everyone. It's Belvedere here again. It's time for this week's Who's in Your Four Ball? Back to you, Ash Man.
I'm going to throw to you, Dooley. You take it away, brother.
All right. So we got in honor of opening day baseball, where who's in your four ball this week is MLB themed.
Yep.
Who would like to go first?
Mate, haven't got much of a clue with baseball, kind of similar to you were last week.
My F1.
Which causes a bit of a stir, I've got to say. Both you and I have caused a stir there with last week's Who's in Your Football. I'll go first then, get the ball rolling.
Thank you.
Quality. You know what? No, let's stop. There's a tradition here. Golf's about tradition. Chris goes first. You go first, brother.
All right, cheers, gentlemen. And I guarantee you this week we won't have any crossover. My four ball is Boston Strong. So,
I reckon
all
I could nearly
representatives
guess yours, man.
all representatives certainly have a Boston link and for the most part a Red Sox link in there. So, kicking things off with one of my favourite Red Sox. I had the privilege of going to Fenway and he was on the mound that night. It was a bitterly cold spring morning, but he brought his best and I was certainly lucky enough to see him throw a no-hitter that night. That individual is John Lester.
Okay.
So my understanding is John is an avid golfer, and he's even a Swag Golf brand ambassador. So you might know
Right.
Swag Golf from Paige Sporanic. She is an ambassador for them and uses their putters. Certainly, I would love to have John as part of my team. He was certainly our game one guy during the 2013 championship run. So I would certainly have no issue with him teeing off first as part of the 4-ball.
Okay.
Moving on, my next member is probably my all-time favourite pitcher to watch, which is a bit unusual. In his prime, it was like watching Warnie bamboozle batters.
Right. Big call. Okay.
And so if you don't know who I'm talking about Tim Wakefield.
Nice.
He is a knuckleball pitcher, which is probably the equivalent of a spin bowler in cricket.
Right.
What he could do with the ball was just unbelievable, and I was just mesmerised. Anytime he was the starting pitcher, I would make sure I listened or watched whenever he was on the mound. Sadly, Tim was taken from us not so long ago due to brain cancer. But he was a keen golfer and heavily involved in the sport. He was a regular at many Pro-Am tournaments and was actually the honorary chairperson at an LPGA tournament.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
As well. So with 186 wins, he's ranked third all-time for the Red Sox. And so I know he will get the job done on the course as well as he did on the mound.
Yep.
And then, as always, with the female, this one was a bit of a stretch. Obviously, MLB's a male sport, so just bear with me with some latitude.
Okay, cool.
My pick here is Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan. So, for those of you who don't know Katie Nolan, she's an American TV personality / comedian who focuses on sports. She's had stints on Fox Sport and ESPN, and at one point had her own, I guess you would call it, late night sports comedy show on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
But for the 2022 season, Katie was part of the Apple Plus MLB commentary team. And so for me, I think that's a strong enough link so that I can get her on my team. So would certainly love her to have on the team. Hilarious, full of energy, and certainly someone who can take a peg or two out of John and Tim. So, awesome. Yeah, that's my 4-ball, gentlemen.
Wow, well done, well researched again. I'll go next, and we can finish with Dooley because you'll know what you're talking about.
You'd think so.
All right. So I went with guys that can play golf as well. So my number one pick and my team captain, and he'd be an awesome bloke to play with, obviously Babe Ruth. So he was often considered one of the greatest baseball players of all time, but Babe Ruth is actually known for his personality both on and off the field, but he's actually a well-documented golf lover. Often seen playing golf during his baseball career. So I'll have Babe Ruth on there. Great picture I've seen of Babe Ruth meeting Don Bradman too.
Yeah.
That was a cool historical photo. Second, then I've got Arnold Palmer. Yep, Arnold Palmer. So, while primarily known as a legendary golfer, Arnold Palmer actually had a brief stint in minor league baseball. Boom.
Okay.
Before focusing on golf. So he remained a fan of baseball through his career, obviously, and was even honoured by several Major League Baseball teams. But I'll have him in my foursome. Does that count? Even though it's MLB? Yeah, it's minor. It's a feeder.
It's in the system. It's in the farm system. Yeah. What did he play?
I don't know what he played. I probably should have figured that out. But I know he played minor league. That's all I can find out.
He surely deserves to be in there any more than my F1 drivers from last week. So
that's right. But you're not allowed to repeat that. Ugandan government didn't like it. Ken Griffey Jr. was my third. So he's a true baseball icon, known for his smooth swing and athleticism. But he's also known to play quite a bit of golf. I know he's done plenty of pro-ams in his time. So my foursome, I hope it's okay. It's Babe Ruth, Arnold Palmer, Ken Griffey Jr. Dooley,
Better than okay.
what have you got? I've been waiting for yours.
Okay, so first of all, I've got my childhood hero who I actually met, which is the Aussie Dave Nielsen. These are all Brewers themes, by the way, if you can't tell.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, barrack for my busted bum team again this year.
I've got to say they've got one of the coolest logos.
It's
that
pretty
one
good.
you're wearing.
Yeah.
I
mean,
really
we don't have a pennant, but we'll have a good logo.
And is
I
that
actually
what
had the-
behind you there, Dooley? Is that baseball cards?
Yeah, mate.
On the
That's
wall?
I've got a whole panel there full of Dave Nielsen cards.
Yep.
Every one of them's a Brewers card, so
Love it.
I'm a tragic.
Cool. Nice.
So I was lucky enough as a 12-year-old to be bat boy for the Sydney Blues team and got to meet Dave Nielsen. He actually gave me a broken bat at the end of the game, which I cherished for years.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it got lost in a move by my old man, but I'd love to have that thing now.
Yeah.
Second of all, not a Brewer through and through, but finished his career there, is Hank Aaron, who was the first to beat Babe Ruth's home run record.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'd like him there just to have a chat. This fella copped death threats. Don't beat the record. We're going to get you.
Yeah.
Especially being a man of colour in that era.
Right.
So
Yep.
he did cop it.
Yep.
And my third is the voice of the Brewers, which you guys probably would know him from the commentator of Major League, Bob Uecker. I mean, you would not meet a funnier bloke. If you get a spare 20 minutes, you got to listen to his Hall of Fame entry speech. It's just gold.
Okay.
Really funny bloke. Now, because I chose the theme, I'm throwing in a caddy. Chris will love this.
Okay.
You're going to hate it. I've got my caddy as Jose Altuve because, mate, if he can cheat on the baseball field, he's an Astro. He's shaving some shots off my round, I tell you.
Wow,
nice. I'd like him carrying my bag. He'd have hollow pockets for sure, that fella.
Beautiful.
Love a dig at the Astros. Love a dig at the Astros.
Yeah, no, so I cop it all the time. Boys, thank you. That was who's in your four ball. Once again, really well done, boys.
Golf 49. Quality golfwear, $49. From mild to wild, our entire range of shirts, shorts, and accessories are $49 each, including free shipping Australia-wide. golf49.com.au.
All right, let's shake it out a little bit. We've only got about 10 minutes left in the show. It's the 10th episode. It's
well done, boys. Milestone.
Yeah, man. We got 10. We got 10 in.
10 in the bag.
I did look at your 10 in the bag. We got the US Masters coming up in a few weeks' time. I work in the television industry in Australia, and I sell airtime into the golf and into the Nine Network. And there's not much airtime left in the golf.
Could imagine.
Which is good. There's a lot of interest in golf at the moment for commercially, which is awesome. I wanted to give Chris a bit of a chance to have a bit of a rant. We'll have a bit of a rant. We'll chime in a little bit about the condition of the course and the clubs that you experienced this week down in Melbourne, mate. Go for it. What did you experience?
Well, it was. Look, we needed, well, not needed, but wanted to fit in some golf while we were down there.
Yeah. No, you need to. You need to.
Needed.
Your heart.
So we played at Yarra Bend, which is a public course, probably 20 minutes outside of Melbourne CBD. Lovely course.
Right. Yeah.
The course runs parallel to the Yarra, as the name suggests.
Okay.
Beautiful course. Lovely conditions.
Is that suburban or is it like
it's probably
semi-rural?
suburban is what I would call it.
Yeah.
But obviously flying down, not bringing clubs, so had to hire clubs. So this is my first experience with hire clubs. And probably wasn't the greatest.
No.
Obviously there was three of us, so we all kind of had a set. They were fine, like they were Wilson starter set, so reasonable quality. But their condition was probably something that was a bit.
There's nothing good that comes out of hire clubs.
No.
Mate, there's nothing good that comes out of that. It's like eating a kebab after getting really drunk at the club. There's nothing good that's going to come out of that either. So clubs are like the doner kebab of sporting equipment, aren't they? They're going to be bad for you,
but I like
Nothing
kebabs,
good comes
man.
But in this set, the 6-iron was just, the shaft was just, bowed and bent. The 9-iron, the club head was at 45 degrees to the shaft.
Yeah.
But so
a lot of holes will work.
it provided another challenge to the course itself. But
Yeah.
it was one of those things that you kind of had to find the diamond in the rough. So
Yeah.
eventually I found that the only club that really worked for me was the 7-iron. So I essentially used that for every shot, no matter the distance.
Yep.
And then the driver, which was probably about 3 or 4 inches shorter than what I would have liked, but eventually came round and managed to absolutely, nail a few off the tee. So it was just a case of finding those diamonds. So it took a few holes, but I got there. But
well done.
Yeah, it was an additional challenge. So
I've got to apologise, Chris. I didn't put any of the pictures up on the screen, but I'll share them on Instagram with Randall or something. But mate, I actually would rather not play golf if I had to use higher clubs. If I had the choice, I've had so many bad experiences with higher clubs when I was a kid that it's just ruins the game for me. And for me, it's the clubs in my bag here. That's half of my game. I love those things. They've got their own character of their own. I've nurtured them. So, and when you go pick up a higher set, it really sucks, man. But sometimes you've got to do it. Julie, what about you? You would have had a fair share of high clubs in your time, wouldn't you?
Once or twice I've had to use them when I've been stuck, and same thing. Like you got about 12 different brands in the bag as well. Which doesn't help. Yeah, the occasional short one. The putter's always dodgy, like they've just flogged it from putt. But I've heard one good. I think an American bloke I used to play online gaming with. I think is it Bethpage Black?
Yeah,
of course, real tough. Yeah. Played there, cost him an arm and a leg, didn't have his clubs, was like, oh, it's going to be terrible. And he reckoned these clubs were about a week old. It was a new set of Titleist DCIs.
Oh, wow.
He's like, they were way better than my clubs. He had the time of his life. It was like a trial day for him. So there is good points out there.
And he accidentally took them home, I heard.
Yeah, he's now a wanted man.
Can I just throw something out there?
You can.
I'm going to throw it out there. Top Golf. There's a Top Golf here on the Gold Coast. I took my own clubs to Top Golf, right? Because what are you laughing at?
No, because you worry about it. It's so
anyone at home listening, do you take your clubs to Top Golf? There is no way I'm going to spend $300+, go to Top Golf and hit some rubbish up there, which has been thrown around and bent. I took my own clubs. I saw other people take their own clubs, but then on Instagram, I've seen a few people getting bagged out for taking their clubs. Now, what do you think? Do you take your own clubs?
I've never been there, but I'd love to. Is that how much it is? $300?
Oh, because you got to hire the suite, and then you get food, and then
it probably would escalate to that once you get food and drink involved.
But it's like your TrackMan thing too, isn't
exactly.
It? So I'd be taking my own clubs. I don't want to. Why would I want distances on someone else's clubs?
Yeah,
man, I'll walk in with you next time.
Bloody oath, me and you, freaking Brosnan Firebirds, Carnegie Clark. Chris, would you take your own clubs to Top Golf?
I certainly would. As someone who did double and did a bit of league bowling. Never progressed to buying a ball. But I did and do still have my own bowling shoes, and I bring them everywhere whenever I go 10-pin bowling.
Good.
So I hear you, Ash, and I agree with your position.
Awesome. We all agree on something for once. There we go.
Very rare.
You also Albert Park golf course, right? Is that the golf course inside the Formula One track?
Yeah. So obviously Albert Park's a large public course or a large public park. Think of it like Moore Park in Sydney. Within it is a golf course. Unfortunately, during the lead up and during the 4 days, it cops an absolute hiding with over 100,000 people walking through it. they do their best to rope off the greens and protect some of the tee boxes as well, but some of those fairways afterwards are just certainly not as green and lush as the image in the background you have there. That's may well be how they start out the week, but they're pretty yellow and brown and thatchy and dried out by the end of the 4 days. So I guess, if anything, a big thank you to those at Albert Park who sacrifice their golf for the Grand Prix. As someone who's a motorsport fan, just a thank you, and I feel your pain, because it'll take a while for the course to rejuvenate, particularly as we head into the cooler months. So thank you.
No worries. After the break, we've got Ripped or Yipped.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Each week we are dropping a new episode which you can find on Spotify or YouTube. Also check us out on Instagram and Twitter or X at ECG Hackers. Send us your... Hey fellas, Belvedere here again. It's time to go around the table with Ripped or Yipped. Let's see what side of the argument the boys were on. Ripped or Yipped. Back to you, Ash.
Please, anything can happen here because Dooley hasn't told us anything about what's going on.
Yep.
So, Dooley, over to you. Ripped or Yipped, brother? What have we got this week?
Well, the first one, I feel really bad now because I learned something in the news, which I always do.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start off with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Ripped or Yipped? Yellow balls on tour. I feel bad.
Chris, you go first.
Certainly ripped, as someone who plays a coloured ball. Ripped.
Yeah, I'm going to go ripped as well. I think it's time to break the shackles of the coloured ball and let the coloured balls go free.
I'm going to go Yipped because Caddy's there to see it. Come on, boys. Okay. Yeah, but if my son liked yellow, I'll use yellow.
Yeah,
that's why I feel bad about that one.
Yeah.
All right, next Ripped or Yipped. Charlie Wood's getting a sponsor exemption.
Chris?
I'm torn on this one. I've got to make a decision. I will go Yipped. Too young, needs to do a bit more, needs to earn it.
Thank you.
I can agree with you, but I'm going to go Ripped because it's about the sponsorship. It's about the company that thinks he's got marketability. So I'll go Ripped.
They've played it well, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Yipped because it's cost someone else a spot in there, and I don't think he did really well either. Did he?
No.
No. What's the next one here? So I'm going to throw this one.
How's your eyesight these days, Dooley?
It's shocking. Look how far away the paper is. So I'm going to go a dress code for players' wives and girlfriends on the 18th of a final round.
I'll take that. I think that's a ripped. I think that they're representing, the golfer, the tour, the sponsors. There needs to be a standard set. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. PGA Tour ripped.
Yeah.
Live Yipped.
Righto. Yeah. So yeah, I've gone ripped. Just from again, I'm picking on this poor bloke with his yellow balls, but his wife could have. She was just in some denim cut-offs and a plain shirt. I'm like, come on, doll. Like,
He clearly was not expecting any limelight.
No, and that's what else I said to my daughter. Like, she wasn't expecting to be here today. That's sad. Like, anyway, probably doesn't even have a final day outfit, to be honest. It's 9 years since he won last.
He's just usually wearing his pajamas.
That's right. Yeah, watching it at home.
Yeah.
This next one, having a practice bunker attached to the putting green at a club. Should this be regulated to only the bravest of men?
Ripped. If you're asking, should it be regulated? Ripped. I don't think. Why is there a bunker next to a putting green? It's usually facing the clubhouse window.
Exactly.
So, no, you don't put it next to the putting green. You leave that over there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the same. There needs to be some forethought around it. And generally, I would like to have a practice putting green separated from a pitch and putt kind of practice area as well.
Yeah.
But it's almost a show of strength, mental strength. If you're the man that goes in there and has a chip, hey, you're game enough to have a crack. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alpha move.
That's right. Yeah. So I've ripped it as well. I'm not going in there. No way. No way. Okay. So this was a local one for me. Having a tee with some sort of device attached to it to stop losing said tee. Ripped or yipped?
Yipped. They actually exist. Just jump on TV, you'll see them. Yipped.
That's right.
I'm not down with that.
Ripped. I've lost a number of tees. I don't know why. They never seem to follow the general direction of my swing plane, but yeah. I'm all for something that helps me locate them. My eyes are horrible at the best of times, so yeah, I'm all for it.
So I've gone yipped. This bloke had was like a bit of string.
Yes,
it was like a
I've seen
skateboard. It was a skateboard ball bearing, out of a wheel that he had this, and I'm like, if he accidentally hits that, someone's losing an eye.
Yeah.
And not only that, retirement up here in the country lifestyle can't be that bad. Buy a bag of tea, bro.
Yeah.
Last one. This one is just, I'm gonna, if I may ask Chris and myself just to step aside. This one's one word and directed at Ash. Rory.
Jeez. That's it. Jeez.
Just after last week's spray, I thought I've got to get it in. He can't answer. He can't answer.
One word for Rory. Jerk.
Righto. Well, that's ripped or yipped for the week.
At
boys.
Car Lovers, we know how much you love your car and how important it is to keep it in top-notch condition. That's why we've created the Car Lovers Infinity Wash Club, an affordable and convenient way to ensure your car stays sparkling clean all year round. Say hello to unlimited or...
Belvedere, if he said give me 100 words, I could have given 100, but he gave me one.
We're back. Sorry, I didn't explain myself well. What I meant was I'm giving you just this one word, ripped or yipped. Rory, ripped or yipped.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, no. You know I don't like Rory too much, and that won't change. Boys,
he disrespects the shark, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly, not in this house.
No, that's right. That is the end of episode 10 of the ECG Hackers podcast. I'm the Ashman. We've had Zuuc down here from Zuuc here from down in Sydney, and Dooley, who's been from Port Macquarie on the 10th show. Thank you so much, boys, for joining us tonight.
Any golf this week? Any of you blokes?
Chris?
Yeah, I'm teaming off tomorrow, so able to play with
Whereabouts?
Rand and a few others. So off to North Ryde. So
again, nice.
making
Check
the
out
most
that
of
water fountain.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent,
mate. I want to see more of those videos, mate. I'm not. I'm taking the kids to a place called Thunderbird Park to mine for little gemstones and things.
That sounds cool.
So that should be cool.
Right.
What about you? You playing this weekend?
No, I've been called into work. I'm working all 3 days. So, yeah. But see if I can sneak off early for a bit of a practice putt on the sandy greens of Warhope or something.
Yeah. Hey, it's only a couple of weeks away, and we might be able to get a game of golf together, Dooley.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm going to make it happen, brother. I've got a new wedge. I can't wait to get out there and have a crack at an approach wedge, a Callaway one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, golf hackers of the world, that was it. Episode 10 ECG Golf Hackers Podcast. I'm the Ashman. That's Chris. That's Zuuc. I'm off to the 19th tee, boys. I'll see you same time next week.
Ciao.
It's time.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers podcast.
ECG. And welcome to this week's Hackers podcast. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.